Hi Rachel, I can see that you're here. Thank you for turning up. Thank you so much for coming. People are starting to come through now. Brilliant. Hi everybody. Hi, just wait a minute more for a couple more people to come through. Brilliant. Excellent, more people are coming through. Hi Lou, nice to see you here. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Do use the chat as well. Fantastic. I'll just wait a minute more, just wait for some more to come through. Oh my goodness, this is really good. Thank you for coming. Brilliant. Right, I'll take hi guys, brilliant. Right, I'm going to make a start. Most of you know me already. I'm Lyndsey Taylor from Park Lane Events, and thank you for attending November's webinar. It's the second one in the series. I'm doing them from October to March during this random 6 months that we are going through. Each month is a slightly different topic. As we all know, everything's changing each time. So I will be sending a recording of this afterwards as well. And if you want to take pictures, I really noticed that last time, which was really lovely. People took pictures as they went along and were sharing it on social media, which was really good. So do feel free. Also, if you have any feedback, do let me know. If there's any topics that you want discussed or covered at all, then that's great. And then the next one will be on Thursday the 3rd of December, but I will put that all in the follow-up of the replay. The replay will probably be sent to you tomorrow. So I'm going to start sharing the screen. I'm recording it as well, which is obviously how I can send this out to you. So let's start. So topic, obviously, as you know, which is why you're here, conference and events. What now? What are we doing? And have yourself a very virtual Christmas. So as you can see, we're just going to quickly go over the latest government guidelines. I did visit a couple of COVID secure venues last month, which was great. So just touching on the feedback there, I'm going to do some blogs on those as well. Christmas, what's everybody doing? Ideas covered, covering everything from hampers, virtual, hybrid. And I've got a little chat where I've got a chat with Martin from Off Limits events in this video as well, in this webinar. And obviously every month I'm going to put how are we keeping each other motivated. So do send me any tips and tricks and things if there is anything that you're doing that you're finding really helpful getting through this. And obviously any question answers at the end, though I do find everyone chooses the chat. So it just gives us that extra minute at the end if needed. So I want to say a shout out to the people that have helped me put this together, providing information. This is some of the events companies and hotels that either I've gone to see or have been having communications with. As you know, there's loads of stuff out there now. There's loads of things, Christmas parties in particular, being shared on all the social media channels and in our inboxes. So I've obviously got a lot more as well. And these ones were just ones that I've picked out of a few. So I'm sure you're in a similar situation as well. So government guidelines, we know most of this, so quickly go over this. And it has changed obviously from today. So, you know, happy lockdown day, everybody. Happy Guy Fawkes night. We are in lockdown now until 3rd of December. We know we need to work from home. Schools and universities are remaining open, as we know, thank goodness. You can exercise or visit outdoor public places with the people you live with, your support bubble, or one person from another household. So that is something you can do, which perhaps people aren't so clear on. So you can go to a park, perhaps there's a takeaway booth for coffee or something there, and you could walk with someone out of your household who's not in your household, and you can take a little walk there. That's how we need to do our appointments now, I think. The main thing is you cannot meet people in a private garden. So I think that's really just to make sure that people aren't mingling, going into their houses perhaps for a cup of tea, use the loo, all that kind of thing, and then before you know, you've got a whole group there. There are exceptions, which are key workers, essential education and training purposes, and business travellers. So that brings us to hotels. There are still some hotels that are remaining open and some that, as we know, are closed. And this goes back to how it was on that first lockdown with having key workers. However, essential education and training purposes, that's kind of been popped in there a bit more now. And in particular, The latest government guidelines, literally this afternoon, have changed, or at least have been confirmed. You can, believe it or not, still have meetings up to 30 people. They are allowed, which was back how it was a few, last week and previous month. They have just extended the furlough until the end of March as well, and that's literally just been broadcast in the last half an hour. And there are now going to be grants available by local authorities for events related businesses. So do apply if that is relevant to you, for if it's your local authority, and they will decide how much they can afford compared to, depending on how the form they fill in and what you are filling in, basically. So that's literally just announced today. So timely for this webinar, and good luck to everybody if anybody's doing that. So just going on to, can you all hear me okay, by the way? Feel free to write in the chat if you can. I'll just continue otherwise. So I went to see Great Fosters last month, and this was really good to be able to see COVID secure venues. Went to see Great Fosters in Windsor. One of the first things you do when you walk in, and you get given a little, I don't know if you can see that, it's on that picture there as well. So this is a little hand sanitizer which they give to everybody. So I think for any events that if anybody is able to do any with this whole rule of 30, and that is actually still in place, any hybrid Christmas parties, things like that, quite a nice touch to have that for people. Or if people are doing hampers and things, perhaps it's thinking about those things to put in there at the same time. So when I checked in, we got a little newsletter, of course, that said this is what you can and can't do, kind of thing, and very clear, very concise. It's obviously all about communication, and also was the Alexander app, because of course Great Fosters are part of Alexander Hotels. And that app, you scan that app, you can see on that bottom left-hand picture there, you scan that app, and then that brings up a whole menu of things, a bit like your room compendium as it was. And then you can see that on the top right-hand picture there, the room compendium that shows, just on your phone, basically, just how you used to get it on a room compendium, you've now got it on your phone. So really good to see how they're able to communicate and keep you updated with things in the hotel. And then on a meeting and events point of view, so as I say, this still theoretically can go ahead, apart from, as far as the government guidelines are concerned, meetings, conferences up to 30 people. So their orangery at the top right hand side is beautiful and really spacious, so great to be able to do events in there. And the picture below the orangery is the conservatory, so great for breakouts, because that's straight out from the orangery into the conservatory. They are connected, and I was lucky, it was a beautiful day that I was able to visit, so you could really see how that would work. They've obviously got acres of land as well, acres of ground, so lots of them to move around and go out. As you can see there with the tables outside as well, so they have a pizza oven and tables for barbecues, and they also have some little mini gardens that have got hedges all around it, so that you could have, say, up to 10 people in each of these little mini gardens with these hedges around, for like a Christmas meeting slash lunch slash dinner, as long as it was work related. And they can get heaters and blankets and everything to make this experience. You can still do it, you could even still do it outside. You can see their barn there as well, that has that's self-contained, that's got access to the outside, and that's one thing I really found there, with lots of different areas you could have events and meetings in. And even if it isn't obviously for now, but for next year, they're really being proactive with what they can do. They are still having meetings, or they were still having meetings going on, and filming as well. That was one that we were talking about, lots of things that are still going on behind the scenes there. I then also visited Hilton in Basingstoke. It's now St Anne's, well, it's the St Anne's Manor, and that's now DoubleTree. So that's had a complete refurbishment for it. So really good for training again. Rates were really good. DDR rates really good. Overnight rates really good. So they've got some great offers there at the moment. And you can see an example of the function space there on the top left-hand corner. It's water given individually. There's no stationery. So just sort of ways that they're trying to keep it minimal as possible because of all the touch points. And that's with the picture right at the bottom there, says about all the high touch points. It tells everybody in a bedroom these are the high touch points. So at least they're sort of telling you, just be aware, this is where they are, this is where we're cleaning as well. So that gives you a good idea, because their cleanliness sort of brand, if you like, is called Clean Stay. So that's what you'll see everywhere with any of the Hiltons, and the app there again that you can go online and check out what they're doing there. And then just on the bottom right hand side, it's like a little breakout area, or you can, if you're working from home and you just want to go somewhere else, I'm seeing a lot more hotels are doing this now, where they able to offer a space where you can just set up your laptop and work from there. And of course you've got the restaurant or the cafe area, or teas and coffees that you can grab, and again they've got their app there, they've got their anti-back stuff, so lots of little stations of that are appearing everywhere. So that was just the overview of the visits that I did do, and big thanks to them for helping arrange that as well. So then we're on to the very virtual Christmas parties, because this is what everyone's pretty much going towards now. So things to consider. Obviously the timing of the events, it's all going to be virtual now, and we can be more flexible. So morning brunch perhaps, afternoon tea, or an evening with comedy. If it is going to be something with food, people have obviously got to get their hampers delivered to them. So it is about having everything coordinated beforehand, nice and seamlessly. Also thinking about what is the reason for the virtual party. Is it do you need the CEO message? Probably very advisable. Is it for people to get together for the Christmas get together, albeit virtually? Is it to reward everybody, hopefully, because if you've made it to a Christmas party, then well done to everybody that's managed that. Also engagement, to think about, there's always going to be some people that want to join in, some people won't. So how do you keep things flowing? So working with a company that is able to do that, or if that's something that you're doing, are you able to do that really well? But also educating the client how that will work as well, to give them a peace of mind. And then of course the big question, hamper or not to hamper, because you've got to make sure that clients are aware that this is booked in plenty of time, that there's time for the delivery, there is time for any delays. I do recommend, and others are recommending, that everything is booked 7 days beforehand, so that gives 7 days to be able to sort anything out that's not arrived in time, no matter what the situation was. We all know it just takes one person to be out, and then it might take them a couple of days to be able to pick anything up. So and it depends on, of course, with the hampers, on the variations of what's available out there as well. So going on to the next slide there. So we do need to bear in mind as well, we could be back to tier 1, 2 or 3 from the 2nd or 3rd of December at the earliest. However, I think everybody has kind of decided, let's just do the virtual thing, but it is bearing in mind things could suddenly turn around and go, oh, could we just get some of us together, especially with this the allowance that these 30, that up to 30 people could go ahead. So if you've got somebody that has a meeting and then wants to finish off with the dinner, then that is something that could happen still, but it is obviously getting that across to everybody as well, that's allowable. That is something we can do. So of course the obvious things are the vouchers. I don't need to go on and talk about Marks and Spencer's, John Lewis, Harrods vouchers or whatever. That's a very easy thing to do. You could obviously put vouchers into a hamper as well. You've also got hotel gift vouchers and experience days. So I think they're going to be much more popular this year, because that's obviously a bit more you've thought about that a bit more than a normal voucher. And one thing that I do recommend is perhaps if people want to have a list, like a pick and mix list. So you've got 6 options. Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? Here are the vouchers. Here's the experience days. decide which ones would you like. So that might give people flexibility there. And if people have got a large company, and again going back to the engagement of it, if you've got 20% of your company that just doesn't want to do a virtual Christmas party, perhaps they might like to have the experience day in the form of a voucher or just a normal voucher, and then the other 80% might want to go for the virtual interactive party. So it's definitely for the event buyer to try and establish what's going to be best, because we all appreciate one size doesn't fit all. So then that leads us on to the hampers again, and virtual party. That's obviously what the availability is out there now, what a lot of people are going for. You've got virtual party gift in a box with the hamper as well, and obviously join a party. So there are at least lots of options now, whereas a month ago we were all still putting these things together and wondering what was going to happen. Most likely it was going to be virtual, but there wasn't as much out there as there is now, and is still coming out. So first of all, I just wanted to give a shout out to these guys, Garçon Wines. I'm not sure if I've said that correctly. Now, these guys tweeted me last night when they saw that I was doing this, and I saw that I had a look on the website, and I loved what they're doing. It's wine delivered through the letterbox. These wine bottles, as you can see, are narrow, and they're recycled plastic, and you can have any wine in there. So wine from their wine list, or wine from, if you've got your own wine or a specific one, and they will put it in those bottles, and it will be delivered and popped through the letterbox. So that's a really easy way to get something delivered to everybody, no matter where they live, and no matter how whether they're in or not. That really doesn't matter. It's nice, small, nice little gesture. In the bottom picture there, you've got the pizza. So they also will deliver pizza and a bottle of wine, and that gets delivered as well to you. So that's quite a fun thing, I think, to do, especially if it's more lower budget, or perhaps just a gesture, or even have that arrive before your virtual party. So that was really good, and I've put that on the bottom right hand side. Appreciate I can't really read it, but it says all about how their recycling policies. So the bottle comes from recycled substances, and it is then recyclable. It's obviously light because it's plastic, and obviously the cardboard is recyclable as well. So that was just really quirky. I thought that was brilliant. When I did the corporate webinar this morning, I had a lot of people that said that looked really cool and such fun. So yeah, that was pretty good. Then on to vouchers with hotels, and we know a lot of hotels can offer experience stays and things. So just want to shout out about Great Fosters again, things that they're doing. So champagne afternoon tea is obviously quite an easy win with a lot of people as well. So you could put that as a voucher in the hamper, of course, or just have it as a standalone gift anyway. And to the right there at the top is the afternoon tea. That's what we had. I will say it wasn't just me that ate all of that. So that was Claire, who was there with me, and who works there, and Emily, my daughter. So that was for three of us. It was still amazing. With experience days as well, you've got I think this is a really cool idea, foraging morning with a forage lunch. So as you can see there, it says expert foragers will take you on a tour of the estate to look for edible goodies growing in their grounds, and then obviously you get to eat some of the things later at lunchtime. And I think the good idea with that is that you've got really something different, haven't you, for a Christmas gift, but then you can use that in January or February, and people will have something to look forward to. So again, putting that out as a choice to companies, if somebody doesn't want to have an interactive sort of virtual event, and they're one of those 20%, they say, actually, I would much rather do that, even if it was with them and another member of the family, or if it was a small group of people, so 6, let's go with that rule of 6 for argument's sake, then that could be arranged as well. So but Alexander Hotels have got some really good vouchers, really good offerings, and they can brand them as well. So they can have the company logos on there as well, which I think is a brilliant idea. So that's good from them. So you've got a few other offerings here. You've got the event book, and this is Ria. Some people know Ria. She set up at the beginning of the year. So it's had quite a fun year, bless her already. So I wanted to support her here. You've got wreath masterclasses. So again, just arrives in a box. I liked their lower budget options at the bottom there, that £15 to £30 elf on the shelf. So there are challenges and things as the month goes on, so it's interactive, using the elf on the shelf as you go along. Usual, cocktail master classes, Just Eat, So there's experience things there for people. You've got the box there that if you do order a hamper, so that's just to give an idea of some of the things that are in there. And if you can see the iPad there as well, that's what one of their events would look like, which is their Christmas delivered package. So this is where you would have, you know, 50, no, their minimum numbers, sorry, 100 people. I'm going to look at this now to get my facts straight. It's a minimum of 100 people for this one. It can be in the afternoon or in the evening. 6 o'clock, for example, if it is evening, introduction and speech from the presenter, a speech from the CEO. They would have had their gift boxes delivered beforehand, so they will open those at that point. And then there will also be a breakout room for chatting. There's a fun fortune teller that moves around the area there, and there's awards and presentations. And I'm sorry, I'm just reading off of this. Whole group card tricks and magicians, interactive bingo, sing-along Christmas karaoke, which I think is great, and then farewell from the presenter and CEO. They then keep the party room open for an hour afterwards. Included in there, though, which I think is quite good, in that price is a test event. So prior to the event, like an hour before, not days before, they're offering an hour and 15 minutes taster session to every booked event as part of their package. They get to use the time for a team meeting, so everyone in the company gets familiar with the software. So I think that's a really good idea, and then they can go into their events afterwards. So I think that's really good. So that's that one. And then next one with Evolve. Again, Evolve have been going for quite a long time, numerous years, so very well established. They're offering a similar thing in the virtual Alpine Lodge, where you've got different rooms that you can go into here. So I'm just going to read off here at the bottom, so we've got some more bits this morning. So guests are welcome to the Alpine Lodge reception room, an online platform personalised with the company branding. You can include a welcome speech from the MD, who can also welcome the guests. There are 3 hidden rooms, so you can then go into your own stages, if you like, for different performances. And I really like that idea, because whoever's viewing can choose which room they're going into. So you could have cabaret in one room, you could have bingo in another room, and a DJ in another room, for example. So that way everyone can get that choice, which is obviously the hardest thing, I think, to do. During the evening, you're able to set up chat rooms, so you and your colleagues get to hang out together whilst enjoying the entertainment. They also do the Christmas party food delivered to people's homes as well. So that virtual entertainment on the right hand side, that slide, that's just an example of some of the things they do. Personally, I would love to do the comedy drag queen bingo. I think that sounds such good fun, and that's what we need right now, isn't it? So I will point out they're actually doing a showcase on Thursday the 12th of November, as you can see there, at 3 o'clock, and with a couple of examples of their acts, Judge the Poet and Wandering Hands. So I'm definitely going to sign up to that one, and that'll help us all, I think, having showcases like this. That's brilliant. So that's Evolve. Thank you to them for sending the stuff through. And then on to Oxygen. So they're doing, and this is a brilliant idea, party at home for Christmas. So this is your shared party. So it's on the 18th of December. So it's the one set date. It's a minimum of 50 people. No, sorry, it's up to 50 companies nationwide, minimum of 20 people, up to 200 participants per company. But if it is over 200, there'll just be another room, because obviously you've got lots of different rooms that you're virtually going into. You can choose to be either matinee or evening performance on this one. You can see here you've got featuring Russell Kane, Beat the Expert. You do Beat the Expert with Paul Sinner, Maddox Dixon from Britain's Got Talent, and the Dueling Pianos. So a really nice varied event, and that's one after the other. So whereas the previous slide with Evolve, you're choosing which one you're going into, this one is your whole evening laid out, and you have, so it's Russell Kane is opening it up, you're in the party room there, you then go on to Beat the Expert, so the festive quiz of the year, and they'll be doing there, and Maddox Dixon with his incredible performance by Britain's top magician and mentalist. Then you've got the Dueling Pianos afterwards, So then you'll be able to, it says it's in all your hands to pick the songs for this incredible set. So again, a bit more interactivity there. And then you can jump back into your own party room afterwards. And then that's up to the clients, what they want to do there, the guests, what they want to do there, have your own Christmas games, your own virtual Secret Santa, or just carry on with the singing. So I think that's really nice, again, for people that if they don't want to have something where they're engaging and having to do things all the time, and they literally just want to be entertained, that's brilliant. I think that hits the nail on the head there. So thanks for Oxygen for sending all that stuff through. And then we come on to off limits. So I've known Martin for quite a long time, Martin Stevens. He was telling me all about the things that he's doing, and that's what is on the next slide, is the little chat that we had, and that's where he answered a lot of the questions that people are asking me. So I won't talk about that, and I'm just noted on there some of the things that he is going to talk about, as well as other things, like just an example of some of the things that they're doing: candle making workshop, virtual casino evening, the Christmas challenge, mind reading show, cocktail in a box. You can see here murder mystery and escape room. So and then he will touch on the advent calendar, which people have to sign up for by mid-November, because obviously it's advent calendar. It goes from the 1st to the 23rd of December, and he's going to talk about that next. So I'm going to press play here. I'm still going to be here in the room. It was just easier to record this than easier for me and for him. It's the first time we both recorded for a webinar. So I'll launch straight into it now, and put anything in the chat if you've got any questions.
Hi Martin, thank you so much for joining me and being part of the webinar about Christmas parties, because we know that everybody's got to go virtual now, and you've obviously done a great job with your virtual Christmas parties offering. You kindly sent me the slides so I can send those out to other people that are watching this today as well. I appreciate it's a really difficult time right now with Christmas coming up, so people are looking at lots of different options and alternatives of what they can do, not just with their companies, but perhaps personally now with people all over the place. So it would be really good to understand the kind of thing.
Oh, sorry, did that just disappear? That's gone. Sorry about that. Not sure what's happened there.
Hi Martin, thank you so much.
Sorry about that.
Part of the webinar about Christmas parties, because we know that everybody's got to go virtual now, and you've obviously done a great job with your virtual Christmas parties offering. You kindly sent me the slides so I can send those out to other people that are watching this today as well. I appreciate it's a really difficult time right now with Christmas coming up, so people are looking at lots of different options and alternatives of what they can do, not just with their companies, but perhaps personally now with people all over the place. So it'll be really good to understand the kind of things that you're offering. And so I've been asked quite a few questions from other people already, so I'm going to ask you those questions, and then we'll just have a little chat, and hopefully by the end of it everyone will be a bit more aware of the kind of things that you can offer and how to book for it. So for example, if you give me an idea of a couple of the packages, what are your minimum numbers, for example? That's something that a lot of people are asking, minimum numbers, and how that might vary from package to package.
Okay, in real terms for virtual events, minimum numbers I would have said is around 6. But it really depends on the interaction required from the client. It's similar to face-to-face events. An event for 6 people virtually is probably more difficult to deliver than an event for 200 people, just purely because the momentum, the actual interaction and the people involved. So, we want to encourage as much engagement as possible. And, if let's say we're looking at the likes of virtual escape rooms, then 6 people in a room works, because they're working as it would if it was a real event, a face-to-face event, on either in a breakout room. So the virtual platform for the escape room works effectively for 6, but could work for up to 200 people if we need to do so. Alternatively, if you're looking at more music-based events, which are becoming ever popular with regards to the virtual side of things, then you would need 25, 30 people minimum to get the momentum, because regardless of the fact we're not face-to-face, there's still the issue with introversy and extroversy, in terms of those introverts won't engage initially as much as the extroverts. So you need the numbers sometime to get the event off the ground. But in real terms, I say minimum number 6 people, maximum number is more dictated by the platform. So with Zoom, for example, we probably work on a maximum of 250 people. If it was larger than 250, then we may actually split it to be 2 groups on 2 separate Zoom meetings with the same goal, of course, and the same interaction. And in fact, the people within that virtual meeting wouldn't realise that all participants weren't there, because you never meet all 250 people in that virtual gathering.
No, that's true, actually. So then that kind of brings us on to cost. And would it be more expensive perhaps for 6 people, because you normally have to do these things per head, then obviously 200 people? And I think this is what people were wanting to find out, what's the most, not necessarily cost effective, but what is the difference with all these prices? I've seen anything from £19 a head to £120 a head. And sometimes that's because of the hampers and things like that. So I think some people are looking for perhaps either a stripped back version or something with lots of add-ons, so that then it's up to them. So what's sort of your advice on like a good party? What ballpark figure should people be looking at?
That's an interesting one, because in real terms, you're quite right. I mean, the cost per capita, again, pretty similar to a face-to-face event, is the fewer the people, the greater the cost per capita. So you're not going to get as great value per person as you would for a group of 6. That said, in escape rooms, it is cost-effective, but at the same time, you're really looking at how much engagement, how much involvement. For a small group, a casino is very cost effective, because we might only have to have one host going around the 4 virtual casino tables. But for a large group, you can only have 7 people around a casino table, for example. Therefore, you need 1 croupier per 7 people, so it becomes more and more expensive. It really is. I think clients need to, from the offset, give some indication of what they have to spend per person. I know that's always difficult on budget, but you can save so much time in the planning of the event. So it's not backwards and forwards. And I think the good thing about virtual, once you're online, you've set up the Zoom meeting, the event has started, to add ancillary elements to it isn't a massive additional cost factor. So I think, yes, you're right, it does vary. It depends on how luxurious the content of the event is in terms of what the client wants to spend. The prices can vary so much. And also there's different skill sets involved, because one day might involve an event manager hosting most of the morning. Then we need to get a specialist on-stage singer, for example, to host a singing style event. Her cost would be high, or you might have a celebrity host there at £1,500 or so. So there are so many variables, but I think it's very important for clients, more so now than ever, particularly when people are booking things incredibly short lead in. I think lockdown has made every corporate realise that their corporate Christmas party definitely isn't going to happen. They're committed to doing something virtual. So I think the planning stage initially for me is to say, right, how much have we got to spend? How long have we got for the event? And what do we actually want to achieve from it? Is there business content, or is it purely just event content? So I've kind of covered a few bases there, but and I've gone around the house slightly to say, well, I haven't committed to any cost, but I think it's a client really sit down, think about it, give a budget, let's do something to fulfill that budget.
I think that's a really good point, because we don't want people to panic buy either, just because they just realise perhaps that it's got to be virtual, and then they just start seeing what's out there and then suddenly committing, but actually haven't thought about all the stages as they would as a normal Christmas event as well. So that's really good advice there. And then that kind of leads on to those that perhaps might have some VIPs that they want to do something special for, or their top clients or their top sales achievers. Do you have like a VIP package that perhaps might be bespoke, or something that's just for those really high-end people that they'd normally perhaps take somewhere really nice, or even if they were taking them abroad somewhere, like could be just 20 people, because these are sometimes a smaller amount of people that they want to say thank you to for all their support that year and their achievements.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head slightly there, and you used the term bespoke. I think most of the kind of luxurious packages are the bespoke packages, and it's from that initial brief where we'll build that package. I'm working on one at this moment in time for a client who uses me for their event every year, and that is a client who literally wants to have a lot of business content, but also have engagement throughout the day, but it's non-stop. They don't have a moment to breathe. It's events back to back, and for them, I'm suggesting a virtual host. They've got an international company briefing as part of it, a range of icebreakers throughout, and what I failed to mention there is a hamper going to that client beforehand. That hamper doesn't only contain Fortnum & Mason items, it also contains little icebreaker challenges, a little bit of a quiz, items they need for different selfie images through the course of the day. So the intrigue is there is in the hamper before you actually start the event. Then it's hosted by the virtual host. And within that event, it's literally non-stop, because I think one of the most uncomfortable things with virtual is the poignant pauses when something's supposed to happen and doesn't happen, and it's like, wait there, what's happening? So we need to keep the momentum there and enough content there. So there's the icebreakers, we're including the virtual escape room in there, concluding it with a virtual cooking demonstration. So in effect, they will have the ingredients for the hamper for the cooking side of things, and they need limited equipment beforehand. That's all in the brief that's sent in advance. And then there's a party in the box as part of that hamper as well. So at the end of it, it's the crackers, it's the little cameras, etc., etc.
Don't worry, keep going. It's real, it's fine.
Absolutely, that's the trouble with virtual. So the party in the box at the conclusion of it, to really encourage them to have a drink, let their hair down, have a laugh. And it could be a little bit of a disco there where the actual host is actually concluding it with that high energy bit of music engagement with them. So whilst they're at home and you feel slightly stupid at home, dancing and everything else, as long as they have a little bit of lubrication, they're absolutely fine.
I think that's great to have that party box beforehand, not just with a hamper of food actually, because I think that's where a lot of people are going, but to have that, you've ticked all the boxes there with engagement and fun, and you've got the Christmas party element in there, so that sounds really good fun. So going along with those themes and things, I've had people asking me, do I know people that can do virtually like carol singing, so they're all together doing that. So I think that's a good point you're saying about people at home, because I'm like, I love that idea, but if you're at home and you might have kids or dogs that want to join in or whatever, that could be quite interesting. It's getting over people's, perhaps if they're a little wary about doing that beforehand. You've got things like wreath making that you can do, because you can get that kit delivered, of course. Yep. And then people have said obviously about international hampers, non-alcoholic hampers as well. So, can you do anything like those? I mean, they're just the ideas that I've been given that people have been looking for.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly do that. I mean, the carol singing one, well, we've had a few requests, but if I'm honest with you, I've gone more along the lines of a Christmas medley on the kind of Christmas carols kind of thing. It's more, each team is given a different Christmas song to actually sing. It might be a Wham classic, it might be a carol sing, but they go into their breakout areas under the instruction of the host. They actually, try and come together and sing that particular song. And then each breakout room will record their version of the song. Everyone will come together at the end and we'll cue in the different medleys. So it might go from Wham's Last Christmas to the Fairy Tale of New York, from one team to another. But whilst they record it in their breakout rooms, we record it and post-event, we'll edit that, we'll send it to them. So they've got their own company Christmas medley, which I think works incredibly well.
That's so cool, I love that.
Thank you. And the masterclasses, a cocktail masterclass is proving ever popular. That would be a case of just saying non-alcoholic or alcoholic ingredients, sense them beforehand, and it's hosted by the flair barman to give it that little bit of pizzazz, but a bit of music, a bit of a party atmosphere. And traditional wreath making, again, we can do that. We've got the contacts and the skill sets to be able to deliver that. And that's, once we've got the advanced planning with regards to getting everything to everybody, then it should be seamless from there on.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It is, and that just brings me just to another point of, with everybody getting all that information, people haven't had to get all their people's personal addresses and things like that before to have everything delivered to them. Is that something that you would be able to help with, or would you just rely on the event buyer to be able to provide that for you?
I think from experience so far, the event buyer has always been happy to provide that information. It's all part of the invite process in terms of, this is what we're doing this year, this is what we need for you in order to make this happen, and collate the names and addresses from the participants. Alternatively, if a client decided that they wanted us to actually facilitate that, of course you could do so. It would be a small additional cost to do the admin of that, and we would make contact with everybody. The only time that has a little bit of a failure rate is if for any reason our emails go into their spam or whatever the case may be, You know, if there's 200 people, we're trying to ring them to find out, it becomes a bit laborious. And I think it's always best to go from the host, but that isn't to say we can't help with that. And quite simply, if it is just the online event where nothing's been delivered in advance of the event, all we really need is their email addresses. We would advise a client on what the participants would need, whether it would be just access to a laptop with a webcam, or whether it's access to a laptop with a webcam plus facility to use a phone and an app, because some of the virtual platforms we use, they're in a virtual escape room, but they have an app in their hand which controls the content within the breakout room. So we would advise a client what they would need in advance, so that you will not get this tech issue at the start of the event saying, okay, I didn't realise I had to have my phone with me, I haven't got a webcam, or I'm on an Apple device and it's not doing that. So, you know, we will make sure that prior to the event they've got everything they need to make sure that the participants are fully prepared for the event itself. Okay. So if it's an event where things in advance, you know, the client can send the information, all the addresses to us. Alternatively, if it's just virtual, it's just email addresses that we require to put it all together.
That's brilliant. It's just having that peace of mind, I think, isn't it? That the event buyer is like, right, this is what I need, and you've clearly been able to instruct them. This is what you guys need from them to make the transition really well. So then, with leading times as well, I was sort of touching on that. I know ideally, the sooner people can commit, the better, because you've probably got a month till some of these start. We're beginning in November now, so and of course you can have lots of them going on at the same time, of course, for lots of different companies. So tell me about sort of leading times. Does it vary between some of the packages? And I appreciate it will make a difference if some, as you say, are just virtual, and others are if some are just virtual and others are sorry, that distracted me there. If some are virtual, or if others do need hampers and things delivered to them as well.
Yeah, I mean in real terms, it's one of those, the more content and the more equipment that's been delivered, as you rightly say, the greater the lead time. But that isn't to say we can't make it happen, but I think we need to try and make sure it's fail-safe, because we are relying on third parties when it comes to deliveries of parcels, etc. And, you know, if we're delivering 40 parcels and 29 get delivered and we're trying to source the other 11 that haven't through tracking systems, etc., we need to make sure we allow time to resend if we need to do so. But ideally, you know, the longer the better. And I would suggest that clients, you know, make their decisions sooner rather than later, because if I'm looking at the inquiries we're getting, it would suggest that people are starting to panic, they are starting to book, and I think to secure their availability for the event, you know, the sooner they book it, the better. But at the same time, that doesn't mean we can't accommodate, you know, a week or a 2-week lead-in time for events. There is one event we're doing, which is the virtual advent calendar. And that's an event which will last 23 days. So 1st of December through to the 23rd of December, because we're assuming people don't want to take part on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day because they'll be finished for Christmas. But with that, we need commitment by probably the 14th of November to set it all up so that an invite can be sent to all participants. And with that particular event, everyone within the organisation, so if there's 80 people, will be sent a link to an app where they download an advent calendar. On that advent calendar, there's a daily task for every participant. When I say daily task, actually there's 5 tasks they've got to do every day leading up to Christmas. And there's a little bit of a competition as far as to say it's the first person to complete the challenge in the quickest time, not the time of day. Each day is activated at 10 o'clock. They've got 5 challenges per person. And literally, if you go on at 10 o'clock and you complete all 5 challenges in 2 minutes, you're on the leaderboard. You might go in 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you complete in 1 minute, you're at top of the leaderboard.
Brilliant.
But the scores are kept throughout December, so you have a winning team at the end of December. Like I say, that needs to be put through by the 13th of December, and that can be concluded with an internal company virtual meeting where the MD, the CEO, or whomever actually announces who the winners were and lets them know that something will be arriving as a prize on their doorstep on Christmas Eve. Yeah, exactly. So another one is, so it's not actually just not a virtual platform where they're all there together. It's something leading up to Christmas, counting down the days, something to look forward to every day on the lead up to Christmas. In a time when, you know, people don't really have that kind of anything to look forward to.
I think that sounds brilliant, because you could have that going along, you get that real momentum up, and then you don't have to have a big Christmas party at the end of it. You could just have something quite small that actually balances with that, and that's kept that momentum all month. So with that, I mean, this sounds brilliant. Do you have like minimum numbers, a price, and tell me a bit more about the challenges you have to do every day?
Minimum numbers, really, and honestly, I suppose if you turn to me and said there's only 7 or 8 people, it would still work. In terms of the challenges per day, it might be just answering a question, you know, what's the alternative name for a Christmas pudding? Piggy pudding, you just got to pop it in there. There's a little show reel of a movie section on the left-hand side and the lead actor on the right-hand side, and they've got to turn the little reels to actually match up the movie with the actor. And it's different little challenges. I suppose it's a daily quiz. But an interactive quiz, and through the course of it, they also get little prizes as well as in the different parcels or presents as it goes through each day. But it literally is fairly simple challenges, but it's...
It won't take up too much time, but it sounds really fun, and they're going to get addicted to going in every day to be competitive with their colleagues.
Well, you know who will be the competitive ones that want to win. You'll know who can't be bothered. But the other thing as well, they can set up little groups in terms of chat, say, I've done today's challenge with you, because they can coordinate with the teams, because they want to win as a team, not just as individuals. So it's a little bit of engagement.
That sounds absolutely brilliant. Martin, I can't thank you enough for this. It's really insightful. It's answered so many questions that I'm being answered. And I'll make sure that everybody's got information afterwards on how to book. Thank you so much, and I'll catch up with you again soon.
No problem. Thank you for the opportunity, and a somewhat early Happy Christmas to everybody.
Happy Christmas. Thanks, Martin. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So thanks to Martin for that. I hope that's helped answer any questions people have. And you can see he's got so much to talk about, and a whole range of offerings as well. So then that goes, we sort of finished on quite high there with all these exciting things that you could do. And then you sort of come back and go, oh, but this is reality. We are in lockdown. And on an individual point of view, working from home, it's keeping momentum going for ourselves. And how do we keep ourselves motivated on a day-to-day basis as well, which obviously it's really, really hard at the moment. And of course, there is the usual basic things. We talk about goal setting, and but I think it really is about doing something every day, and that goal could be something very small every day, as well as weekly, and having little rewards for yourself when you do complete your tasks, and whether that's through work or whether it's on personal things. And again, keeping that work and personal things separate if possible. Those that are at work every day, having that routine, and perhaps speaking to somebody at a similar time of the day each day. So for example, if you're not at work as well, it's going for a walk and having a phone call at the same time, and just doing that at the same time every day to give that bit of routine back in your body again. And I know it's a very basic thing, but going to bed at a similar time each night, not scrolling so much on our phones, getting up in the morning each morning, getting up at the same time. And obviously everyone's in different circumstances, especially if you've got kids at home and you're getting them up and out for school anyway, that definitely gets that alarm clock going anyway. But then it is if you're coming back, and if work's not as busy, or if it is really busy, it's just still that juggle, isn't it? And especially working from home all the time can be quite a challenge, just to keep that momentum going all the time. So I'm obviously here for chats and to have catch-ups as and when. So I have set up something with Calendly now, so people can book a time, so that then I can do that on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so that then other times of the week I'm doing the other things as well. And at least then I know, right, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are when I'm really having my catch-up times with any of those calls that might be in the diary then. And to help our endorphins, which obviously are happy, what makes us feel happy inside, then the obvious thing is exercise, and we do know that, but it's getting up and doing that in the first place. So keeping it simple, just going out for a walk, watching comedy, obviously we love to do that, and dark chocolate. So I think all of that's quite easy for us to do. It is just putting that in the calendar though, isn't it, every day, and making sure that we are going to do that, and having that as a non-negotiable. You are going to do that, you are going to reward yourself with some dark chocolate afterwards, and that'll help give those endorphins. And just trying that every day, try it for 7 days in a row, and then all of a sudden you're getting into quite a routine. And again, with this whole, you can walk with one person outside your house, you know, walking in nature. And even if we've got to drive somewhere, we're not bound in England with our territories or anything. So even if it means driving a little bit to get to somewhere that's a bit more spacious and perhaps away from things at the moment, and then meditate and podcasts. So do send me things that you're doing and things that you're listening to. I'm listening to Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, for example, and he does weekly podcasts. Now his podcasts are quite long, they're like an hour and 45 minutes, so of course I do them in chunks, and I have my little earphones in and go for a walk, or when I'm just doing things around the house, and that kind of blocks all the kids out now, which is quite good fun sometimes. But he actually has lots of different guests. Every week is a different guest, so that leads me on to then looking up some of his guests and thinking, oh, that sounds good, I'm going to listen to his or her podcast now, and or perhaps read her book now, or not, as the case may be. And then what has started today is #WalkWithTom. So Captain Tom, as we knew, who raised millions and millions of pounds for the NHS earlier on. From today, if you go on Twitter and put in #WalkWithTom, that's something, it's about going out and having a walk. I haven't had a chance to look much into it, but so I don't even think you have to walk a certain amount, for example. I think it literally is just go for a walk, hashtag it, and you'll see the whole country also going for a walk, just to have that we are part of this together. And it doesn't matter then if you're on your own or not, just to do that. And like, I know I said this last time, but you know, this isn't forever, so we've just got to kind of keep thinking that, haven't we, and keep picking ourselves up. I try not to spend too long thinking about what we can't do and the things that we've lost, as in financially as well, you know, so it's about just concentrating on each thing there, and sharing the love. I know I say that all the time, digging deep, keep moving forwards, congratulate yourself on the small wins. Now when I was typing this, I put accidentally congratulate yourself on the small wine. I thought, well, I'm going to leave that in because I don't think it really matters, does it? If it's a small win, if it's a small wine, congratulate yourself anyway, and it'll make us all feel happy. Or Rachel's just put in, I do a daily walk and try to see the river each day. Oh, I love that idea. Love nature. I've been meeting with friends for coffee pre-lockdown, which has been great. I write a to-do list every day, however small, just feels good to tick it off. I am with you there, Rachel, and I think a lot of us in the industry, we like a list, we like to tick these things off, whether it's on our phones or physically. And one thing I liked actually is writing notes to each other. That has actually just reminded me, so today's calendar is actually just these webinars that I'm doing today and what's for dinner, and at the bottom my 13-year-old has written, give Emily cuddles. So I thought, you know, that's what we need to be doing. We need to be writing each other notes even within our family, and maybe try and do that and see, you know, just that picks each other up, doesn't it? Or send something in the post, and find a postcard or get a piece of paper and write a note on it, and just go really back to basics, just to say, you know, hi, I'm looking forward to giving you a hug next time I see you, and it will bring a smile to someone's face. So or not, hopefully you'll only do it with people you really know, otherwise that would be weird. So so moving on, thanks for that, Rachel, as well. So moving on, this was basically some of the feedback I had this morning from the corporates, the feedback on the session. So I will keep doing them as long as people want to do them. I'm going to do them, as I said, up until March, so for the next 6 months, and I will be in touch to show you to tell you when the next one is. It's Thursday the 3rd of December, and so I will send you that information out, as you can see on there. So big thank you, massive thank you for supporting my webinars and for attending today. If you've got any questions, let me know. Sometimes people contact me afterwards, and of course, you know, if you've got any inquiries or know people that have inquiries that might be relevant as well, let me know. And of course, I've got loads of information just to sort of exchange some of that as well. And also, if there's any further topics that you want to see covered as well, so I can obviously include that, especially when it comes to, oh, I've been asked about this and I've been asked about that, then I'll often include that as well if it's near that time. So I'll stop, let me stop sharing the screen. There we go. So yeah, big thank you. I'll keep you updated with the next one, as I mentioned, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Take care, all the best, and obviously stay safe. Bye bye now.